from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Pleasant day and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini ChannelEye. We are ready to bring you the top stories at home and around the world. I am Charita Vinaprarachi.
And Devanjali Anand, and these are the top stories for tonight. People are requested to focus more attention on the prevailing excessive heat condition. The President stresses that no room will be left for anyone to take school children as hostages. The National Transport Commission will be digitalized. Patients complained that no surgeries are conducted at the Ambulipitiya Hospital. Now for those and other stories in detail on your top story. President Ranil Wickremesinghe stresses that no one will be allowed to take the school children as hostages.
He made these comments at a discussion held in the Presidential Secretariat this morning to review the progress of the special budget proposals of several ministries implemented during this year. The President instructed the educational authorities to submit alternative proposals and solutions with regard to the relevance of GCE advanced level answers papers before the end of this week. The President also said that he will take measures to make education as an essential service. The President also said that he expects to implement relevant rules and regulations to maintain examination activities as an emergency service. The President said all the teachers responsible for making papers last year must be available for paper marking this year. If they fail to do that, they will be prosecuted according to the existing law. He also expects to discuss this matter with the Attorney General's Department. The President also informed the educational authorities to focus attention on the statement made by the Minister of Education in this regard and to plan future activities accordingly. During the meeting, the President advised officials to create a program that would enable at least 4 students per year based on their exceptional performance in the GCE advanced level examination to pursue graduate courses in foreign universities such as Oxford, Cambridge and Harvard. The President also stressed the importance of annually increasing the number of students who could benefit from such an opportunity. Additionally, the President emphasized the significance of providing equal opportunities to students from the public and private universities and encouraging more students to pursue technical subjects. Furthermore, the President instructed the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission to prepare a plan to provide internet facilities to schools with advanced level within 2 years, followed by all schools with educational facilities up to the ordinary level. The President has directed the creation of a joint program between public and private universities to produce 10,000 engineering and technology graduates and 5,000 medical graduates annually.
Now, the Met Department requests the public to focus special attention on the heat wave prevailing these days. The heat index in the northern, north central and eastern provinces and several places in the Munaragala and Kurunegala districts is at high level to be reckoned with. Accordingly, the Met Department requests the public not to expose in the direct sunlight for a long time. Director, Met Department, Dr. Shiromani Jayawardena said that during this intermonsoon period, wind speed is considerably low and the humidity of the atmosphere is relatively high. Therefore, perspiration on our skin is low as well. Thereby, people feel excessive heat. This adverse condition will last until the southwestern monsoon activates by the end of May. The Health Promotion Bureau informs the public to consume required amount of water to prevent dehydration that may occur due to the excessive heat. Meanwhile, scientists say that a large number of people in India annually die due to the exposure of excessive sunlight. According to official data, over 22,000 people have died due to the excessive heat during the period 1992 to 2015. Temperature of the earth is gradually increasing due to climatic changes. It is a critical situation as excessive heat causes humans. Usually, many people die in India due to excessive heat of the sun. Foreign reports state that the temperature in India will mark a 4-fold increase by the year 2050. Lancet Medical Periodical states that there is a 55% increase of the death toll occurred in India between 2017 to 2021. The Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka says that no party has made any request to Chinese authorities with regard to exporting 100,000 talk monkeys from Sri Lanka to China.
In a Twitter message, Chinese embassy states that the news published in local and foreign media in this connection has no truth. No party has made such a request to the Chinese Forestry and Grassland Administration Institute as well. China always gives priority for the protection of wildlife and is committed to actively achieve the international responsibilities in this field. Meanwhile, farmers emphasize that a decision must be taken to control the population of talk monkeys in Sri Lanka as they cause heavy damages to their crops.
The digitalization of a National Transport Commission is now being started. The official implementation of the data systems process of the Commission was launched under the patronage of Minister Bandula Gunawardena today. Services of the private buses in the public transport sector in the island is being regulated by the National Transport Commission. Under this project, all services of the Commission will be functioned through an automated computer system. A significant feature of this system is that it is functioning without any outward influence. Implementing the new project, a bus with GPS facility was monitored from the head office. The Minister also inspected the activities of the GPS control unit. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the only alternative to make the services of the state institutions efficient is digitalization. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that issuing and deciding route permits for private buses, imposing rules and regulations for running, cancellation of route permits on errant drivers, imposing fines and all other relating activities will be carried out through the information technology in future. Buying and selling process of all institutions will also be done through information ethnology. Digitalization is the only solution to prevent malpractices, frauds and misappropriations taking place in the state sector.
Former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira has been called up to the Terrorist Investigation Division at Nara MPT today to inquire with regard to a statement made by him on the Easter Sunday attack. However, former Attorney General did not turn up at the division and clarifications has been made through an attorney at law. Former Attorney General Oliveira made a controversial statement regarding the Easter Sunday attack at the time of his retirement. He said that there was a huge conspiracy taken place behind the Easter Sunday attack. The national newspapers have also reported his statement on the 17th of May 2021. Former Attorney General was summoned to the TID unit to inquire with regard to the statement. He has sent a lawyer to clarify over his statement.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Senasinghe says that time has come to change the future policies of state debt in order to suit the challenges in the developing nations. He made this remark participating in the UN Eco-Social Council session held in New York recently. The State Minister pointed out that these policies should be changed based on the multilateral aims on capital and sustainable development in the developing nations. Shortcomings prevailing in the sovereignty bond credit system should be addressed to promote this debt sustainability. The State Minister further said that this process is a complex mechanism with the participation of international credit owners, numerous third-party stakeholders and the IMF. The Minister also pointed out the importance of preparing state credit policies for the modern challenges faced by the developing nations. Meanwhile, a meeting between the State Minister, Shehan Senasinghe, and Chairman of China International Cooperation Agency, Liu Shaohui, was also held in line with the IMF spring meetings. Now, today is the 19th day of Sundara Nuwara Eliya, Salalihini Vasantha 2023.
The national television is the media sponsor for the Nuwara Eliya Salalihini Vasantha. In line with the Salalihini Vasantha, a community service program was held for the low-income families living in Nuwara Eliya. Sangapani Temple in Bangkok sponsored the financial assistance for this program. Stay tuned with more local news after this break.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy, Nava Vasarak Veva.
Welcome back. On more local news, Patients at the Ambulipitiya District Hospital complained that emergency surgeries at the hospital has not been conducted since 2 weeks.
Deputy Director of the hospital, Dr. Ravindra Besuri, says that conducting surgeries has been temporarily stopped as there is no any anesthetic physician. Patients say that the patients who need emergency surgeries will be transferred to Karapiti and Ratnapura teaching hospitals and the Hambantota District Hospital. Over 150 patients receive in-ward treatments at the hospital daily.
Now, a media briefing held in Colombo today to enlighten the measures taken to implement the state language policy. It is emphasized at the press briefing that creation of individuals with trilingual fluency and multiple cultural experiences and strong personality is important to advance the country forward. The right of obtaining any service from any government institution for any individual in the country has been assured by the Constitution itself. The program has already been implemented to provide language proficiency to the state employees in order to provide services in all 3 languages. In addition, the State Language Department is scheduled to start various language courses from June this year. Any citizen has the opportunity to apply for these courses. An audit of language proficiency among the state institutions is also being functional at present. If any citizen faces a problem relating to the language in obtaining services from any state or other institution, they can inform the relevant authorities by dialing the hotline 1956. It is available free of charge from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on weekdays. In addition, the numbers 0112 696211 and 0112 888929 are available to inquire regarding the problems relating to languages.
And now let's move on to several local news items in brief. A fundamental rights petition has been filed before the Supreme Court requesting an interim order preventing the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance from handing over the dividends of Sri Lanka Telecom belongs to the Treasury at present. The Union of All Island Telecommunication Workers has filed this petition asking an order to be issued against the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers to prevent them from handing over the dividends. 1,320 new doctors will be provided with appointments on the 25th of this month. The new doctors will be appointed for the vacancies in the hospitals in remote areas.
Now, National Malaria Day falls on the 26th of this month. Although Sri Lanka is declared a country free of malaria, the Health Promotion Bureau says still there is a risk of spreading the disease in the country again. Although the risk of spreading malaria in Sri Lanka is declared low, it is rampant in many countries in the African and Latin American regions and several South Asian countries, including India. Director of the anti-malaria campaign, Champa Aluvihare, says that the disease can be spread by the people who come back to Sri Lanka after visiting or working in these countries. 2 hotlines are available around the clock to inform any case of malaria. All information with regard to possible malaria cases will be available at the Anti-Malaria Centre.
Former news director of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Vanchanatha Vikrama, has passed away. He was 79 years at the time of his demise. Vanchanatha Vikrama joined the SLRC as a public relation officer in May 1982 at the inception of the corporation. Later, he has served as a news director for a long time and achieved a dedicated service in the corporation during the 88-89 violent period. He has also worked as the director of Educational Programs Division and the General Programs Division. Remains of late Vanchanatha Vikrama will be kept at the Boralaskamo Funeral Parlour from tomorrow, and the funeral will take place at 5 p.m. on Friday at the Boralaskamo General Cemetery. Stay tuned with international news after this break.
Creama Kottumi hot and spicy නව වසරක් වේවා.
Welcome back with the international stories and moving to the Sudan update. Fighting raged in Sudan hours after an internationally broked truce was supposed to have come out into effect as forces loyal to General General battled for key locations in the capital and accused of each other violating the ceasefire.
Loud gunfire reverberating yesterday in the background of live feeds by multiple television news channels in the Khartoum capital region. Minutes after the agreed 6 p.m. onset of the ceasefire, explosions have shaken Sudan's capital despite claims of ceasefire on the fourth day of fighting that has killed nearly 270 people and wounded 2,600 others. The regular army and the rival paramilitary rapid support forces issued statements accusing each other of failing to respect the ceasefire. The army's high command said it would continue operations to secure the capital and other regions. The conflict between Sudan's military leader and his deputy on Sudan's ruling council erupted 4 days ago, derailing an internationally backed plan for the transition to a civilian democracy 4 years after the fall of former leader Omar al-Bashir to mass protests and 2 years after a military coup. The fighting has triggered what the UN has described as a humanitarian catastrophe, including the near collapse of the health system. The organization's World Food Program suspended operations after 3 of its employees were killed. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, speaking in Japan, said yesterday that he had telephoned and 2 rival leaders, Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and RSF leader General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, had appealed for the ceasefire to allow the Sudanese to be safely reunited with families and to provide them with relief.
And from Sudan to moving to China, 12 people have been detained by police for questioning after a hospital fire in the Beijing killed at least 29, most of them patients. The fire among the deadliest in the recent years broke out in the Changwang hospital yesterday. Angry and concerned relatives rushed to the hospital hours later, only learning the fire from local news reports. Many said that they spent the night trying to locate loved ones. Those who were rescued have now been shifted to other hospitals for treatment. Speaking at a press briefing conference today, officials said a preliminary investigation showed that sparks generated during renovation works had ignited paint stored on site. Among those detained are the director and deputy director of the hospital, and as well as the head of the fire firms overseeing the renovation works. Footage on social media showed patients jumping out of the windows to flee as dense smoke billowed out of the building. Some were seen balancing on external air conditioning units as they were waited to be rescued. Local media reported that firefighters evacuated about 70 people and put out the flames within an hour of arriving. But relatives of those who were being treated at Change Frank that were furious with the hospital management. They said even 8 hours later, hospital officials were unable to provide the names of those who had been injured or had died.
The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has said his country has completed the development of its first military spy satellite and ordered officials to proceed with a planned launch. Kim, who was visiting the country's National Aerospace Development Administration, said developing reconnaissance capabilities was a priority to counter threats from the United States and South Korea, and that several satellites were necessary to firmly establish an intelligence gathering capability, the state's KCNA news agency reported today. Kim urged the deployment of the satellites as scheduled but did not elaborate on the launch date. In December, North Korea conducted what is called an important final phase test for a spy satellite and said it would complete preparations for the launch by April. Securing real-time information about the hostile forces' military scenario is the most important task, Kim said. Kim also accused the US and South Korea of expanding hostile military campaigns in the name of bolstering their alliance and claimed the US was trying to turn South Korea into an advanced base for aggression and an arsenal for war, but deploying military assets like aircraft carriers and nuclear-capable bombers in the region.
Weak signs of recovery in Afghanistan's economy are at risk of being undone by Taliban restrictions on women working for NGOs, the UN says, and the donations to the UN are under threat of the falling sharply because of the ban of Afghan women working for it, the United Nations Development Programme said. The number of families living in poverty had nearly doubled in 2 years, its report found. The Taliban said politics should not be linked with humanitarian decisions. Afghanistan was punished into economic collapse when the Taliban took over in 2021 and foreign funds that were being given to the previous regime were frozen. Already 34 million people and 90% of the population are living below the poverty line. 2 in 3 Afghans don't know when they will get their next meal. The UNDP report noted signs of hope brought about by inflows of foreign and through different UN agencies, coupled with improved security conditions, a reported reduction in corruption and better tax collection by the Taliban government. But it stressed the economy cannot be reignited if women cannot work, while future economic growth is constrained by underinvestment in girls and women education.
The 2 adorable giant panda cubs were caught on camera pawing and biting each other in a playful bout at the Shangdu research base of giant panda breeding in southwest China's Sichuan province, where they were born last year. In the video footage from the multimedia platform iPanda, the pair are seen perched on a wooden log as they wrestle and nibble at each other, exhibiting the sprouting skills of young warriors. The Chengdu research base of giant panda is a world-leading institution for breeding and conservation of giant pandas, known as one of China's national treasures. The iPanda platform provides round-the-clock live broadcasts of the daily life and activities of pandas in the nature reserves of southwest China.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy Nava Vasarak Veva.
Welcome back with your sports update, and its cricket spinner Ramesh Mendis has been able to tie the record of obtaining 50 test wickets in a minimum number of matches in the Sri Lankan cricket history. He tied this record at the first test match against Ireland ended yesterday.
Ramesh Mendis completed this record by claiming the wicket of Curtis Camper in the Ireland's second innings. He played his test debut in 2021 and tied his record of Dilrun Pereira, only participating in 11 test matches. The big match between the Prince of Wales and St. Sebastian Colleges in Moratuwa will be played on the 21st and 22nd of this month at the Desoiza grounds. This big match, titled Moratu Gold Battle, is played this year for the 73rd occasion. The 63rd big match between Kalutura Vidyalaya and Kalutura Tissa Vidyalaya will be held on the 21st and 22nd of this month at Sara Grounds in Magona. This is named as the Battle of Mangosteen.
Moving on to the IPL update, Mumbai Indians won the IPL T20 cricket match against Sunrisers Hyderabad, played yesterday in Hyderabad.
Batting first, Mumbai Indians scored 192 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in their 20 overs.
Yes, it was on the cards. Oh, well struck. Nice, he got enough there. Yeah, very good.
Cameron Green scored 64 runs in 40 balls. In reply, Sunrisers Hyderabad was all out for 178 runs in 19.5 overs. Accordingly, Mumbai Indians won the match by 14 runs.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy Nava Vasarak Veva.
I've loved it, drive straight to the field, and there's another one.
And with that, we conclude tonight news. Just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Dulanjali. Stay safe.
Wicket in the IPL.
சுவாச காற்று வரும் பாதை பார்த்து உயிர் தாங்கி நான் இருப்பேன். ஹாய், அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். நான் உங்க ரோய் ஜாக்சன் பேசுறேன். வருகின்ற 22ஆம் தேதி புதுக்குடியிருப்புல ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய மியூசிக்கல் நைட் நடக்கிறதுக்கு. ஆகூஸ் மியூசிக்கல் நைட் கர்நாடக சரிகம டீமோட நானும் வரேன். இது நேத்ரா டிவில ஒளிபரப்புறாங்க. எல்லாரும் பார்த்து என்ஜாய் பண்ணுங்க, சந்தோஷமா இருங்க.
காதல் பிசாசே ஏனோ சௌக்கியம் பருவாயில்லை. காதல் பிசாசே நானும் அவஸ்தையும் பருவாயில்லை. ஹாய், வணக்கம் இசை ரசிகர்களே, அனைவருக்கும் சரிகம கருணாவின் இனிய புத்தாண்டு வாழ்த்துக்கள். இம்மாதம் 22ஆம் தேதி புதுக்குடியிருப்பில் ஆகூஸ் மியூசிக் ஃபெஸ்டிவல் எனும் மாபெரும் இசை நிகழ்ச்சி உங்களுக்காக காத்திருக்கிறது. மறக்க வேண்டாம், இம்மாதம் 22ஆம் தேதி ஆகூஸ் மியூசிக் ஃபெஸ்டிவல். உங்கள் சரிகம இசை கலைஞர்கள் மிக பிரம்மாண்டமான புது பொலிவுடன், புதிய மாற்றங்களுடன் புதிய ஆண்டிலே உங்களை மகிழ்க்க காத்திருக்கிறோம். உங்கள் அபிமான நேத்ரா அலைவரிசை நேரடியாக ஒளிபரப்பாகும். Don't miss it. Go is great.
ஒருதல காதல தந்த இந்த தருதல மனசுக்குள் வந்த காதலிக்க கைடு இல்ல சொல்லி தர வாவாத்தி சேர்த்து வச்ச ஆசையெல்லாம் மல்லி தர வாவாத்தி ஏ உசுர தாரை கை மாத்தே அடியாத்தி. ஹாய் மகளே, எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். நான் உங்கள் கிருஷிகா செல்வராஜ். வருகின்ற 22 அன்னைக்கு, அதாவது ஏப்ரல் 22 அன்னைக்கு வந்து புதுக்குடியிருப்பில் ஆகூஸ் மியூசிக் நைட் வழங்கும் சரிகம இசைக்குழுவின் பிரம்மாண்டமான, அதாவது அதிரடியான இசை நிகழ்ச்சியில் நானும் பாடி சிறப்பிக்க இருக்கிறேன். ஸோ இது வந்து நேத்ரா டிவியில் லைவாக டெலிகாஸ்ட் பண்ண எல்லாருமே தயாராக இருக்காங்க. ஸோ யாருமே இதை மிஸ் பண்ணிடாதீங்க. எல்லாருமே சேர்ந்து ஆட்டம் பாட்டம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கொண்டாடிடலாம். ஸோ